Hey y'all, it's October 7th, 2025. We're here in a quiet anchorage in Alaska. Thought we'd take a minute to go back in time and share a little bit about how we got here. So let's head back to September 2021, when we were a few hours west of Portland on the Columbia River and got struck by a gravel barge while at anchor.
The portside hull, rails, and cockpit were badly damaged, the enclosure destroyed. Shrouds parted, a spreader broken, lights and electronics gone. For a moment, we didn't know if we were going to have to abandon ship. Immediately after the allision, we assessed the damage to make sure we weren't taking on water. Radioed the tug, only to be dismissed. That led to calls to the Coast Guard and the police. We'll go into more detail in a future video, including a look at the 26-page Coast Guard report that found the tug captain 100% at fault, something that rarely happens in cases like this. The work that followed wasn't graceful or exciting. It was taking everything apart just to even reach the damage, removing hardware, stripping teak, and finally getting down to the fiberglass. Then came the cutting, the grinding, days that blurred into weeks. Every cut had to be careful, every layer precise. It was relentless. With two major holes in Junovia's port side spanning more than 20 feet, and two more in the cockpit coaming, one being an entire section of the forward coaming, we realized we didn't even know how to work with fiberglass structurally at the level we needed to. Like many others, we turned to YouTube and thankfully discovered Parlay Revival. Colin's optimism and candid approach to working with fiberglass gave us the confidence to tackle such a daunting project. This experience is why we're sharing our story. We hope to inspire others to pursue their dreams, regardless of the challenges or steep learning curves involved. And if the repairs weren't difficult enough, the weather made sure it never got easy. We were snowed out, rained out, and often flooded out. The boatyard sat nearly at river level. The aftermath was overwhelming, not just the physical damage, but the uncertainty. Suddenly finding ourselves homeless, trying to secure a place to live until insurance settled, juggling finances, managing work, and just keeping life moving forward. Every day felt like a challenge. We questioned everything. Is this a sign? Should we walk away? Is it even worth it? But step by step, we chose to stay the course. Our temporary structure, meant to protect the boat from the elements, failed over and over again. Every time it collapsed, we had to stop and rebuild before we could continue on with repairs. Some days it felt impossible to make progress. We'd get so discouraged we had to walk away. Literally, we'd fly to Vegas to catch a few shows, visit our oldest daughter in New Orleans, who just happens to be in the Coast Guard, or escape to a quiet cabin on Mount Hood just to clear our heads. Sometimes those breaks were the only way to keep going. It tested us in every way. Patience, motivation, and even our dream itself, but we kept coming back. Every setback taught us something new, not just about repairing what was broken, but about perseverance, partnership, and finding resilience when you think you've run out. After 3 years of hard work, countless setbacks, and slow, grinding process, we finally reached the point where it was time to stop waiting. Not everything was finished, not even close. We decided to splash her. It was now or never, we feared. So we untied the lines and motored down the Columbia once again. No enclosure, missing lifelines, the rigging not even complete, but we knew if we waited for perfect, we'd never go. As we passed under the bridges, Mount Hood fading behind us, it felt like letting go of everything that had held us back. We were nervous, but free.
Hi, good afternoon. I see you've got some traffic there, but we're outbound and looking for a swing as soon as you can, please. It's the sailing vessel Junovia.
Okay, just make your way up the bridge, stand by, get you doing it.
Will do, thank you. Junovia.
That first crossing out of the river, into the swell, into the unknown, was a test of everything we'd worked for. The boat flexed and groaned with the repairs and new rigging. The waves crashed hard over the bow, and there was nothing but the horizon ahead. Promised ourselves that crossing the Columbia River bar would mark the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. A new journey north through the San Juans, down into the Sound to winter in Olympia, and eventually back up through the Inside Passage. It's been an emotional journey, but one well worth it. That moment marked the start of a new chapter, the one that would lead us all the way to where we are today. After years of rebuilding, learning, and refusing to give up, the enclosure is finally complete, the rigging tuned, and the lifelines in place. We finished the last major project from the incident, a pivotal moment, closure, and a fresh start. Now it's time to provision for the next leg of the journey and continue our adventure. So we gotta go get our mail, and that includes not waiting for the weather to clear because it's never gonna clear. So we're just gonna take these scooters that are up at the end of the ramp. It's pretty cool. They have them all over Petersburg, even though it's really small. Sweet. Apparently we're not the only crazy ones to be rolling up around here this time of year. Guess we're ready to go.
So one of the challenges of cruising around is you've got to get mail eventually at some point, either packages or just paper mail or a new driver's license or a new debit card or whatever. And so what we do generally is we'll use the U.S. Postal Service hold for pickup feature, where you can just have it sent to a special address, and we go to whatever post office. We use the address of the post office, and you can walk in there and pick it up for free. Yeah, and we'll have to get into a little bit about how we actually get stuff forwarded there from our permanent addresses.
They actually have a pretty good amount of produce and fresh stuff compared to a lot of different other stores. Deer right there.
We just did our last provisioning before we leave Petersburg, hopefully. Famous last words we seem to always run into. Time to get out of here. We've been here for a month. Got to move on.
That brings us to today. We're dropping the anchor, settling Junovia in for the night, a calm end to a long chapter. It's hard to believe that years of rebuilding, setbacks, and perseverance could be summed up in under 9 minutes, but here we are, in real time, October 9th, 2025, the day I'm posting this video. We're not exactly sure what this next week holds, but on the list, a secluded hot spring on Baranof Island. Because if there's one thing we've learned, it's that every ending is just the beginning of the next adventure. All set?